Good morning. Day 69 of hiking the Appalachian Trail in 100 days. Got a good start this morning before 7 a.m. So definitely happy about that. And working my way up this mountain. I'm close to the top, and pretty much at the top is the Eastern Continental Divide. So that'll be cool to be there. And then after that, got a bunch more miles today. There's a decent amount of elevation gain today, but from what I saw when I was looking at the profile last night, it's mostly in 3 or 4 chunks. So there's 3 or 4 chunks of like 2 or 3 miles at a time that contain most of the elevation gain, and then the rest of the trail is pretty flat and downhill. So we'll see how that goes. Obviously going to be slower on the uphills, and then hopefully we can be faster on the flat and downhills. Alright, this is the Eastern Continental Divide. Atlantic Ocean that way, 400 miles. Gulf of Mexico that way, 1,900 miles. So just a bit over an hour in for the day of hiking. Should have a few miles of relatively flat terrain, I think, going across this ridge. And then we'll see what we get from there. Oh, this is an awesome view. Just out on the side of the mountain, and have this little opening here. So really cool. See all the ridges and draws going up the mountain. That's interesting. So I think this is the Keer oak tree, which is supposedly one of the biggest trees along the Appalachian Trail. I think they said it's like 17 something feet in diameter. And I think there's a bigger one that's like 21 feet or something in New York. My hat's stuck. There's a bigger one in New York, but this one is pretty darn big. That is crazy. Let me get a view like this so it's a little bit more apparent, but yeah, I could not wrap my arms around like a quarter of this tree. It's just massive. Been walking through some farm fields for the last little bit. It's almost 11 o'clock and it doesn't seem too hot yet. The sun's certainly out for the most part when I'm in this open fields, but there's some decent breezes periodically, so that definitely helps. And the guy that gave me a ride back to the trail yesterday, Shane, he mentioned it's not supposed to be super hot the next few days, so hopefully that is the case. So it's about 1:45 now. Got about 5 or 10 more minutes of hiking to reach the War Spur shelter, where I'm going to take my break and eat my lunch. Already filled up on water a little while back, so I won't need to fill up here, I don't think. But after that, it's 8.8 miles to the Bailey's Gap shelter where I plan to stay tonight. So that should be fun. And basically I'm at the bottom of a big climb right now of about 2,000 feet over 3 or 3.5 miles. And there's a little bit of the climb before the shelter that I'm kind of doing right now, but most of the climb, about 1,700 feet probably is after the shelter. But once I make it to the top of that, it's mostly flat and a little bit of uphill and downhill the rest of the day. So that's kind of where I'm at. Getting to Bailey's Gap Shelter will give me another 27 miler today. So that will be a good way to start the week. Just after 3:30 now, and I made it up the 2.5-ish miles. I think it was a little less than 2.5 in about an hour from the War Spur shelter to the top. And there's no marker or anything on far out, but I think this is Salt Pond Mountain. And the one thing that is a little annoying is I'm probably gonna have to stop again before I get to camp, because when I was at my break eating my snack, I plugged my watch in to charge, but I don't think it charged a lot of the time, so it's pretty low again already. I think the connection is probably getting like dirty and stuff, and so I might try to clean that out, because sometimes the charging is a little intermittent. I think I said that right. So probably have to stop again before I get to camp for the night, but not the end of the world. In the tent for the night and got to the shelter around 5:45, so pretty much same time as yesterday. And the water was a little bit further away. It's about a quarter mile, partly on the AT and then partly down a side trail, but it was flowing nicely and I was able to fill up my bladders pretty quickly. So did all the normal stuff this evening and got my tent set up. I did mention a day or two ago that I am ordering new shoes, and basically the reason for that is there's kind of like a cut or a hole in the bottom of my shoe, my right side, on the heel basically, and there's rocks that are wedging themselves up in there, and so far I haven't really had any issues. Every like maybe once or twice an hour, I'll step just right and the rocks will kind of stab into my heel a little bit, but it doesn't really hurt all that much. But I am concerned that that could very quickly become like a huge issue if, that hole gets bigger, or I don't know. I just feel like that's not a good thing to just keep on going with. So I ordered, what was it? When was it? Saturday night, I think, yeah. So I ordered Saturday evening a pair of new shoes. They're a different brand and style, or not really style, but just a different brand and model. It's a La Sportiva, I think is what it's called, is the brand. And I was trying to get a Brooks shoe, but I couldn't get it soon enough, basically, or it wasn't really going to work out in terms of shipping and what town I was going to be in. So originally, today's Monday, the shoes were originally supposed to be in Perrysburg or Parisburg, however you say it. Sometime Wednesday they were supposed to be delivered, but at least when I checked my phone earlier, I haven't really had much service the second half of the day, but when I checked it earlier, it said they should be delivered early tomorrow, or they should be delivered early, which is tomorrow, by the end of the day. So that's good. I'm going to probably try to go into Parisburg tomorrow evening or afternoon. It's about 24 miles from here, and there's a church that has a free hostel basically, so probably going to try to stay there Tuesday night, and then if the shoes are delivered, then I'll try to pick them up, you know, when I get into town. I have them shipped to a different hostel in town, and then or I'll just get them Wednesday morning, and then Wednesday morning I'll get my post office drop as well and head out of town. So that's the plan. Another thing that is an issue, I guess, at this point is today it was pretty bad. Yesterday I kind of noticed it, but it didn't really cause any problems. There's just kind of like sand and dirt that accumulates in my socks and rubs on my feet while I'm hiking. And today it kind of wore my soles a little bit and on my feet, and they're just kind of like swollen and sore and almost starting a blister there. Hot spots, you might say. So I'm not sure what to do about that. I'm thinking probably gonna try wearing different pair of socks tomorrow, and when I get my new shoes, I might try to get some gaiters as well to kind of stop, you know, sand and dirt from getting inside the shoe. I think there's a store in Perrysburg that has a decent amount of gear, so we'll see how helpful that is, and we'll see how the hiking is tomorrow and how my feet feel. So kind of encountering some problems recently, but we'll see how I get along, and I'm looking forward to getting into town tomorrow afternoon. And another thing is I broke the ice cream streak. I had 6 days, but that was kind of expected. I didn't really see anywhere on the map where I could, you know, get ice cream today, so not the end of the world. I am staying at the Bailey's Gap shelter tonight, camping here, and that is a total of 27.2 miles for the day, and I'm ending at mile 1336.5.